Every duty pistol roundup online feels like deja vu. Same tired pics, same old claims. I didn't realize how out of date they were until I caught a veteran officer in a Texas parking lot holstering a sidearm nobody ever mentioned on YouTube. He just gave me a look, no words, just a quiet nod, like he'd figured something out the rest of us missed. That moment hit hard. Real cops have already moved on from half the legends the internet still argues about. I've watched classic models vanish overnight, replaced by guns most folks still call the new guy. Some untouchables barely hung on, while one supposed weakling turned out to be the surprise everyone needed. If you're following the crowd, you're at least 2 years late. Think you know who's on top? Stick around, you might walk away stunned. I'm a Texas guy, but I've spent enough time around that mid-sized Ohio department to know how stubborn old habits die. For years, nobody even questioned the Glocks. Every holster, every armory shelf, the same safe bet. When the department's armorer brought in a few Springfield Echelons for trial, you could feel the skepticism. Most guys just shrugged, left them boxed up, barely touched, except for a quick glance or a joke about new gimmicks. But the winter that changed everything was the kind you remember by the damage it did. Ice storms, dead radios, hands too numb to trust. That night, I was in the armory with the sergeant when the call came in. Shots fired, freezing rain coming sideways, half the squad scrambling with gloves and wet magazines. I saw it with my own eyes. 2 legacy pistols jammed back to back, no matter how clean or well-loved they were. Only the Echelon, a gun most of them had written off as a gimmick, ran clean through the whole mess. No drama, no fumble. Just a steady grip, a smooth trigger, and rounds on target while everyone else was fighting their gear. Afterward, back at the station, the pride in the room just broke. The old guard kept dry firing the Echelon, shaking their heads but not tossing it aside. The armorer shot me a look, half smug, half relief. That's when trust started to shift. I was there the night it happened, and nobody calls it luck anymore. If you've been following my channel, you know I've never hyped up the FN509 Tactical, just for the sake of it. But last month it got personal. I've got a buddy in the Harris County Sheriff's Office down in Texas. He pulled me aside, quiet as ever, and told me it was official. The department finally signed off. No rumors, no sales pitch. They're rolling out the FN509 Tactical as the new duty pistol. Not a test run, not a few for the range, but full issue, covering their deputies through 2026 and beyond. Coming straight from a guy who's lived it, not some press release, hits in a whole different way. I always respected the 509 Tactical, figured it was a little overbuilt for most shooters. Turns out, when you're responsible for real lives, overbuilt is exactly the point. The department spent years arguing, testing, and pushing that pistol through hell before they landed here. This gun didn't win by being flashy or trending online. It survived when backup wasn't a guarantee, and risk was real. If you want to know what real trust looks like on a cop's belt, this is it. I'll be honest, after seeing that, I thought I understood what made a duty gun untouchable. But the next pistol on this list turned everything upside down. The complaints, the jokes, even the quiet bets on failure. They filled every corner when budgets collapsed, and the Glock G43X MOS landed on duty belts. Last year, when a budget collapse forced a switch to the Glock G43X MOS, nobody celebrated. It came straight from the top, cut costs, standardize, and hand out a pistol nobody had asked for. The chatter in squad rooms was rough. Plenty called it a downgrade, some said it wouldn't hold up a month. Veterans talked up the old guns, and just about everyone figured the G43X MOS was a placeholder until something better came along. First few months, the resentment didn't fade. Officers dragged their feet, skipped cleaning, just waiting for the new Glocks to screw up. But shift after shift, traffic stops. Long nights. The pistol kept cycling. No jams, no big complaints, just quiet performance. It wasn't flashy or something anyone bragged about. But by the end of the year, those same critics started carrying it off duty. No announcement, No praise, just a nod to what actually worked. Sometimes the job hands you a gun you'd never pick for yourself, and it ends up outlasting all the favorites. You spend enough time in department armories, at training conferences, or even just standing by the coffee urn at a regional briefing, and you start to notice what sticks around and why. The M&P9 M2.0 compact isn't there because it's flashy. It's the standard fallback in the Midwest and South, filling holsters for agencies that want something proven, not trendy. A few departments tried moving on. Most came back. Most guys never switched to it out of hype. They kept it because it worked with their old mags and holsters, and because nobody wanted to retrain on a whole new system for no reason. That grip angle, always a fight. Some swear the 18-degree feels better after a long shift. Others roll their eyes and say it's just different for the sake of being different. But those same arguments pop up every time contracts come up for review, and the M&P9 keeps landing on the approved roster. Smith & Wesson's American Guardians deal didn't hurt either. Rebates and price cuts undercut Glock's best offers, making the M&P9 a practical pick for cities that had to stretch every dollar. And just as things settled in, the new metal frame showed up, offering more weight, better recoil, but letting agencies keep every holster and mag they already owned. Most guns rotate in and out. This one never left the lineup. Nobody saw this coming, but LAPD ditched their Glocks and armed up nearly 10,000 officers with the Heckler Koch VP9. That move alone made me pause. When a department that size bets the farm, you pay attention. I'll admit, I didn't get the hype at first. My first time on the range with a VP9, the grip felt almost too aggressive, and the slide didn't glide like what I was used to. For a minute, it felt stiff, like something I'd trade off fast. But the more I ran it, the more it started making sense. Trigger's crisp, optic goes right on, no adapter plates, no headaches, just fits and works. Then I started hearing about real-world tests, not just numbers. Trainer I trust in Nevada said their department put VP9s through 3,000 rounds bone dry. No oil, no cleaning, no issues. That did more to win me over than any sales pitch. Not everything's perfect. Holster selection's thin, and finding spare mags can be a pain. But if a pistol can make it through LA's streets day after day, maybe you stop doubting and start watching. Departments don't make switches like that for show. Sometimes proof just looks like survival. I put more rounds through the Beretta 92 FS than I can count. Mine never jammed, not once, even though I've heard plenty of guys swear it's just outdated junk. That's the Beretta story. Either you love it or you leave it. Last year, I had a cop friend from Nevada out at my place. We spent half a day behind the sights, and when the sun started coming up, we walked the park near town, just talking shop. He shook his head, told me that thing was everywhere back in the day. LAPD, NYPD, Chicago, didn't matter. If you wore a badge, you trusted it. It's not just nostalgia. There's a reason departments in the military handed these out for so long. 15+1 capacity, double action trigger, all metal frame. It felt like a real duty gun in your hand. But there's no hiding the weight. After 12 hours on your hip, you feel it in your bones. And the safety? If you ever rack the slide in a rush and hit that decocker by mistake, you never forgot it. Still, there's something about the way that slide cycles. Soft, slick, steady. Even with all the polymer competition, you'll still find U.S. departments issuing the 92 FS today. Some guns just refuse to leave. And if you think the old guard's done, wait till you see which classic made it back as the bonus pick. Even with Glock's flashy new V-Series creeping in, the 19 Gen 5 still owns the duty holster in 2026. Departments aren't swayed by marketing. They stick with what drags them through the worst nights and lets them walk back into the light. This pistol isn't a legacy pick. It's the backbone for agencies from crowded city blocks to nowhere towns. I've seen it pulled on calls at 2 a.m. under busted street lamps in places where nobody's comfortable. There's no careful handling. These guns get tossed, scraped on concrete, soaked in sweat and rain, and they keep going. Grab, press, fire. No drama, no hesitation, just the same result every time. People who call it boring haven't seen what a bad shift can do. Departments aren't looking for excitement. They want a sidearm. That's never the reason someone doesn't make it home. The Chilean investigative police carry them, so do county deputies out where backup's half an hour away. It's not about features or trends. It's about a gun that runs filthy, runs hard, and never lets you down. You want the latest headline? Go chase the hype. Departments with a memory keep the 19 Gen 5 on the belt because it doesn't care about new. It only cares about working when everything else stops. The only thing every cop's holster has in common? Change. You've seen legends lose their place and watched new guns earn trust the hard way. Never because of hype, never on a second chance. Every switch you saw here happened for a reason. Something failed, and something else proved itself when nothing else would. What's trending never matters when you're the one grabbing for your gun on a bad night. Maybe you've counted on a reliable pistol and felt it jam at the worst possible moment, or watched an old favorite get left behind after a single mistake. That's how fast trust disappears. I'm Steve, and everything you just saw comes straight from the aftermath. Real failures, real replacements, real cops betting everything on what actually survives. So, what did you trust and what made it through when you needed it? Drop your story below. The street always tells the truth.